In a family built on faith and love, the very first wife of Kody Brown was quietly judged, not for her choices, but for the number of children she had. And when the family she helped build rejected her, Meri Brown discovered her salvation in unexpected places, loyal friends. She calls her ride or die. But here's the question: was Meri's worth always secretly measured against her sister's fertility? And why did Christine keep reminding the world that Meri only had one child? Tonight, we uncover the family bias, the subtle digs, and the secret friendships that saved Meri Brown from emotional collapse. But the twist waiting at the end will change the way you see sister wives forever.
Where she lives. I'm like, I never heard of that before. And she brought it up a few more times through the years. And then it happened. Mary's like, this is my idea. And I'm like,
Part 1. Meri Brown was once the centerpiece of Kody Brown's dream of polygamy. The first wife. The foundation. The woman who helped raise the family before the cameras ever rolled. But fame, jealousy, and betrayal tore apart what was once unshakable. The other wives found new paths. Kody found new priorities. And Meri? She was left alone. But what if I told you? Meri wasn't truly alone at all. As the family splintered, Meri endured scandal after scandal. A catfishing betrayal, public humiliation, and Kody's chilling words, "There's nothing between us." America watched as Meri's identity unraveled. But behind the cameras, a secret circle of women stood beside her. Women she calls her ride or die. And here's the twist: these weren't the sister wives you saw on TV. In 2025, Meri revealed on Instagram that her truest allies weren't in the Brown household at all, but lifelong friends who walked through fire with her. These women became her strength, her shoulders to cry on, her escape. While Kody rebuilt with Robyn, while Christine thrived in freedom, while Janelle sought independence, Meri found her rebirth in friendship. But not everyone celebrated. Fans began asking, where were these friends when Meri needed them most? When Meri praised her loyal Ride RI group, fans erupted. Some accused her of rewriting history. Others asked if these friendships were born from pain or from abandonment. And then came the twist, a claim that one of Meri's closest friends once worked behind the scenes of Sister Wives. A friend who allegedly knew the cracks in the family years before fans did. We saw it coming. Meri was never Kody's priority. But she was too loyal, too blind to leave. This revelation flipped the narrative. Were these friendships always there? Or were they the safety net Meri had been building all along? Today, Meri is no longer defined by Kody Brown's story. She runs her businesses, inspires women across the U.S., and speaks openly about healing through loyalty and sisterhood. For Meri, these ride or die women aren't just friends. They are her chosen family. Proof that blood and marriage don't define loyalty, actions do. But America still asks, has Meri truly moved on? Or does Kody's shadow still linger? Meri's story is no longer about polygamy. It's about survival. About women standing together when the world falls apart. And about rewriting your ending when the beginning was written for you. One wife lost everything, but gained something greater. A tribe of women who proved that loyalty can outlast betrayal. The sister wives saga may be ending, but Meri's wide-eyed truth is just beginning. Tell us your thoughts in the comments. Part 2. She was the first wife. The legal wife. The woman who built the foundation of the Brown family. But Meri Brown carried a secret wound that no one dared to talk about. Meri had just one child, Leon. A fact that seems small to outsiders, but inside the family, it became a quiet measuring stick. The other wives, Christine with 6, Janelle with 6, Robyn adding more, were seen as building the family legacy. Meri? She was quietly pushed aside. But was this simply biology, or was it bias? In Christine's recent book, she mentions Meri's one child multiple times. While Christine avoids direct attacks, her words carry weight. Again and again, the reminder surfaces Meri had fewer kids, and somehow, that mattered. Christine even recalls joking with Robyn that Meri wasn't pulling her weight. To fans, these weren't harmless words, they revealed a pattern. A belief that in a plural marriage, a woman's worth was tied to how many children she gave the family. But what happens when jokes cross the line into cruelty? For Meri, infertility was never just a medical condition, it was a daily reminder that she was different. On camera, she smiled. Off camera, she carried the weight of comparison. Every pregnancy announcement from Christine, every birth from Janelle, every adoption from Robyn, reinforced a silent hierarchy. And Meri, despite her loyalty, was placed at the bottom. But here's the shocking part. It wasn't just Kody who made her feel less, it was the sister wives themselves. The biggest revelation? Christine and Robyn weren't just joking, they allegedly echoed what Kody himself believed. That Meri wasn't contributing enough because she only had one child. When Christine's book dropped, fans erupted. Was this truth-telling or subtle shaming? Thousands took to social media, accusing Christine of exposing a toxic family culture where women were ranked by fertility. And for the first time, the spotlight shifted not to Kody's neglect, but to the wives who may have quietly played a part in Meri's isolation. Despite the pain, Meri didn't let the jokes or judgments define her. She built her businesses. She formed loyal friendships. She redefined her worth outside the shadow of children, numbers, or Kody's approval. Meri showed America that a woman's value is never measured by the size of her family, but by the size of her resilience. But fans still wonder that Christine revealed these details as honesty, or as a subtle dig that exposes her true feelings about Meri. The sister wives story was supposed to be about unity, love, and equality. But Christine's words reveal something darker that even among the wives, favoritism, judgment, and hierarchy tore at the seams. Meri Brown may have only had one child, but her story proves that motherhood is not about numbers. It's about love. And love, when measured by loyalty, endurance, and strength, is something Meri never lacked. What do you think? Was Christine exposing bias, or simply telling her truth? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's deep dive in full details. Part 3. Meri Brown was the first. The legal wife. The woman who married Kody in 1990 and laid the foundation for a family that would one day shock America on TLC. But behind the cameras, behind the bright family smiles, cracks were already forming. Meri had only one child, Leon. And while she loved fiercely, whispers began to grow that in a polygamous family, one was not enough. This detail, so simple, so personal, would return again and again. Christine's words, Robyn's jokes, Kody's silence. All building toward a truth Meri could not ignore. But why repeat it? Why remind fans that Meri had just one child lest that truth carried a hidden judgment? Christine's book revealed subtle digs references to Meri's one child, and even laughter shared with Robyn, suggesting that Meri wasn't pulling her weight. To viewers, it was shocking. Sisterhood was supposed to be about love. Yet, even among wives, there was a silent hierarchy. The more children you had, the more valuable you were. But here's where the story deepens. While the wives compared wombs, Meri was building something different, something stronger that would later save her life. For Meri, infertility was a battle fought in silence. Every pregnancy announcement from Christine, every birth from Janelle, every adoption from Robyn, each was a reminder that she was falling behind in the race no one admitted existed. And when Kody withdrew, publicly stating their marriage was over, Meri's wound deepened. She wasn't just losing her husband. She was losing her place in the family she helped build. But just as the family left her behind, Meri turned to a group no one saw coming. In 2025, Meri opened her heart on Instagram, revealing the women who stood by her through every betrayal, every headline, every cold shoulder. She called them her ride or die. These weren't sister wives. They weren't connected to Kody. They were loyal friends who refused to let Meri drown in comparison and shame. But then came the twist: rumors that one of these women had ties to the show itself. A friend who allegedly saw the cracks years before the cameras ever captured them. Which raises the question, were Meri's friendships always there? Or were they her backup plan when she realized Kody's love was gone? When Christine's book passages resurfaced alongside Meri's Instagram posts, fans exploded. Reddit lit up. TikToks went viral. YouTube reaction channels dissected every line. The backlash wasn't only against Kody anymore. It spread to Christine and Robyn. For years, they were seen as victims of Kody's neglect. But now, some fans accuse them of playing a role in Meri's loneliness. And the twist? Meri's so-called outsider status wasn't just Kody's doing. The wives themselves, Christine with her repeated reminders, Robyn with her jokes, helped create the very isolation Meri now lives with. Suddenly, America had to ask, was Meri truly betrayed by one man, or by the entire family? Meri Brown may have only had one child, but she gained something her sister wives never gave her: unwavering loyalty. While Christine wrote, while Robyn joked, while Kody abandoned, Meri's ride-or-die friends lifted her higher. In the end, Sister Wives was never just about marriage. It was about loyalty. And Meri proved that loyalty doesn't come from vows. It comes from the people who never leave when the world turns its back. In 2015, Meri's world collapsed in one of the most shocking TLC scandals. What began as an online friendship spiraled into betrayal, lies, and heartbreak. America watched in horror as Meri admitted she had been catfished, searching for love and validation outside of her marriage with Kody. The scandal not only shattered Meri's trust, it gave the other wives and Kody a reason to distance themselves even further. But fans saw it differently. Many believed Meri was pushed into that loneliness by years of neglect and judgment. Was the catfish scandal a personal mistake or the symptom of a family that had already abandoned her? To understand Meri's pain, you have to understand the history of polygamy in America. In 19th century Mormon communities, women were often judged by the size of their families. Fertility wasn't just personal, it was spiritual currency. Even today, Utah law has shifted back and forth on polygamy's legality, but the cultural weight of having many children remains. Christine and Janelle's large families fit this model perfectly, while Meri, with only one child, was left vulnerable to judgment. Was Meri battling not just her family's bias, but centuries of cultural expectation? In Season 1, Meri was the queen bee, the legal wife, the mother of Kody's only child. The other wives respected her position, even feared it at times. But by Season 15, the story had changed. Kody openly dismissed her. The other wives rolled their eyes at her opinions. And Meri herself admitted on camera, "There is nothing between us." The contrast was stark and fans couldn't ignore it. How did the first wife become the invisible wife? When Christine's book hit shelves, Reddit threads lit up overnight. Some praised her honesty, but many felt her words carried hidden bias. Real Reddit and Facebook comments. Christine didn't need to keep bringing up the one-child thing. Meri has suffered enough. This feels like kicking her while she's down. Finally, someone said what Kody always thought but never admitted. The community was divided. Was Christine being cruel? Or was she bravely exposing a painful truth? The answer depends on who you ask, but the backlash was impossible to ignore. Why did Christine keep mentioning Meri's one child? Some say it was unfiltered honesty. Others believe it was passive aggression, an unresolved wound from years of rivalry. Christine often admitted she felt like the underdog in the marriage. Was reminding the world of Meri's limited motherhood her way of reclaiming power? Meri, on the other hand, survived through silence, loyalty, and finally, friendships outside the Brown circle. Psychologists call this adaptive resilience. When one support system collapses, we build another. For Meri, these ride-or-die friends weren't just company. They were lifelines. So who really had the last laugh, Christine with her big family or Meri with her chosen family? The story isn't over. Christine has moved on with a new husband. Janelle is building her independence. Robyn clings to Kody, now the last remaining wife. And Meri? She is rewriting her ending, one friendship at a time. The question is, what comes next? Will the wounds between the wives ever heal, or is Meri's ride-or-die circle proof that she has finally closed the sister wives chapter for good? What do you think? Was Christine exposing her truth, or was it bias against Meri? Was Robyn complicit in the judgment? And did Meri's friends save her, or were they always part of the hidden story? Tell us in the comments, subscribe for more Sister Wives deep dives, and hit a like if you believe women should never be judged by the number of children they have.